two of the players remaining that they ascended with now. They're looking completely different. PXS
Okay, we got Loud on the fence. We got 2G on attack. Let's see if they can get off to a good start.
Change for 2G. It's a comp change, but in theory, maybe an easier comp to play. PXS picking up Breach. Not the hardest agent to go ahead and implement. Right
Who's the new player? This guy.
B space next to the Tejo. The rest of his team works into sand, potentially looking to open this door and pinch into front B.
A lot of progress towards the B.
What an opportunity for this guy. Let's get to the random call up.
Chunk of the map carved out by Loud as slowly we start to tend in that direction. There's of course the chance for Loud to descend upon them, or at least for DJZine to do so through door.
Sound can go up a little bit, right? I think. Let me put it here. Should be a bit better.
Ready from Loud's defense. They can look to open this door and really catch out 2G in the chest.
Pancada, no Omen Flash. That incredible stun from Vinny. Hit all 5.
Still want to make this way in. Cowanzine though, able to take his pound of flesh before he ducks back to cover.
Deacon of good stuns. DJZine had a nice one.
Still no plant yet. A little bit awkward as 2G trying to make their way out towards Waterfall, and now once they get to the fight, they're able.
Yeah, the HPs are just too low. Huh?
LT and Gabera though low, clinging to life is Loud. Want to close the net.
There's no comfortability to plant the spike. 2G have to fight their way out of this. Vinny is low, but the lurk is coming in with the Cypher on the other side. That's 3 now for DJZine. But Vinny is just trying to stall out as long as possible. We're down to 20 seconds. That flank comes in. It's all over for 2G.
Yeah.
And the setup's there for the defenders.
A good start. The timing's a little bit unlucky with the drone there.
is trying to hit this C site. There's a fault line that immediately throws their plans into disarray. And again, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face.
Exactly, right? And I think importantly,
he's a new guy playing assistant coach. No, he's an actual player.
Coming in from the attacking side.
Lives in America, speaks Portuguese.
And do a lot of damage while the rest of his team came rotating in off the stun.
No idea in terms of like what team he used to play for.
Trying to get your breach util lined up with your Tejo setup. Now with the player just coming in, it's tough to have a just add water solution for this comp. Now towards Mound, DJZine wants to try and assert himself a little bit here.
Yeah, he can one-shot everyone.
He'll throw that relay bolt out, but wants to hang around towards Mound still.
Fight scene on the A side of the map too. So far, 2G have been effectively stalled out towards sand.
They said he used to play with Shannon. Oh, okay.
On PXS either, they'd have to swing into the line of DJZine's Outlaw. So I think good news from them is they're just going to grab the orb, maybe rotate back into A, see if they can play for that. Pretty sure Kawa took it on the other side, but
oh, not too bad at the moment. A little bit of pressure over towards C. Obviously, we've got the one person spotting over towards A. Spots one. Let's see what the 3 do. Do they push? Do they rotate?
It's really about layering that util together.
Yeah, layering the
util. Oh boy, even though the one's been pushed back, like the one is still holding this.
Get some info at times.
Big Jewel goes in. Okay, Tejo jump spotted. And they smoke themselves up. Honestly, it's kind of nice what they did. Still gonna lose the round, but there's definitely teams that might have rotated a little bit more than Loud did.
2 years here wants to wait though for a little bit of reinforcement as Pancada provides it. Paranoia thrown out. Still no plant of the spike. Gabera helps himself to the Outlaw.
Only 10 seconds coming in. Players on every single line, but that Outlaw's doing some work. Time to get the spike down. It's a 2-on-2.
They have better guns.
They got. Mound is pretty big, but you're still going to get this plant.
It's doable.
Now Gabera stuck in a 1v2. 2 years and Pancada. Only Ghosts to work with here. But in a position to double face on this, but the spacing's not quite there. 2 years has to challenge. Then he bails Loud out of what could have been a bit of an embarrassing situation.
That was super winnable. At one point, it was a 2v2 and they had Ghost against Outlaw Bucky.
That from 2G, the spike plant too, because one of the things, if they had fallen there before getting the spike down, that's 2 rounds in a row. You don't have the spike, you don't have any kills on any of your big players, so the ultimates would have been looking bad. But as it stands, a big round 2 from Gobera. Now you've got the Tejo to work with, and they were already.
He touches the grass most out of the mobs.
So clearly, that Armageddon has a, I guess, a part to play in their overall strategy now, heading into this first gun round.
I feel like it's not Prodigy and Fio. And it's not Bacon.
Was saved over, but 2G knowing
that's what I'd say. Anyone else can take it.
Issues, but keep your eyes on Vinny playing over in tree right now.
I think that's accurate.
If 2G try to fight into that rubble space.
Can play off the haunt things as well, but so far 2G not caught out by that.
Cooper?
Got a lot of passive info gain here. Cypher cam to spot any push up in this 2 years direction.
What's the bonus like? Bonus is okay. Everyone gets heavy armor for the Outlaw. Augusto, thank you so much. Hold on, let me watch the round and then I'll read this, but looks like the round isn't going to last too long. It's an open sea site, we'll see if they can do a 2v4. EXS is a Brazilian-American, played for Villa. I'm going to butcher this. Villa do Zanatsu. Right? This last bit. Played with Shannon. He also played in Zelos with the 2G coach. Oh, okay, so that's probably how he got the gig as well.
Baby door. There's a trip on B.
Augusto, thank you for the.
Narrow down the possibilities pretty quickly, and Picardo's playing more passively towards this whole side, seeing
for the knowledge.
Come his way, and
just trying to knife it. They're kind of late here.
But if you look at 2G, they've actually separated down numbers. They need some hero plays out of these individuals. Silent's going to take the first bite into Link, but it's not going to be there. Quite a round for Pancada so far. LZ just has to stay tucked and try and stop any potential defuse, but he's up against a veritable horde of interlopers, and here they come. Cowan's in around the corner. Not bad for LZ, but running out of bullets.
Is LZ the guy that had the clip on Abyss?
Will have their third.
The sheriff one?
That fight over
this guy can shoot though.
Crazy.
I think it's the same guy.
Line came in delayed into the
it is, yeah. This guy can definitely aim.
I'm not even sure if that came off of information or just a timing look from them, but resulted in 2 kills nonetheless. I mean, if it was just a timing look, that was perfect, considering that 2 players. Look at this. Out in the open contact. There you go. Digizine just goes 1 for 1 there.
Spike comes back. I mean, Spike will come back. I have no idea what will happen.
LZ almost bailing out again. First Cabrera, then LZ almost.
You would imagine. Honestly, I actually wouldn't be able to tell you.
And time for a timeout here after that first gun round goes awry.
Yeah, this is a tough calling a timeout this early. Like, you don't have really anything to work on. You know, 2G themselves have been playing a few
There's no way they don't put him in? Yeah, they put him in. It's just like, who do they
all the way until they're execing the pistol. Then they see it on that A main fight there in the last one. Not too sure what the coach is.
The second game is C9 against Lev.
Play.
Are you already thinking about the second game?
Identify some trends, but 3 rounds is not
a lot of this game's over.
Only one of them was a full gun round, but Coach Faith saw here. Obviously led this team through a very tumultuous ascension process.
Hear it in my voice, look for 2G to win good rounds and not the match. Yeah, I don't give them high percentage.
I mean, like I said,
I give them really low percentage.
The last 4 officials, they've played crew 3 times. The most recently, it's a competitive series, I suppose, but they end up beating each other on each other's maps, and it's really one-sided both ways.
If an event was to come to Iceland, would you step outside of the house or stay in and go stream? I mean, I would go to it. It would be like 20 minutes away from me.
Yeah, and outside of them against Brazilian teams. They typically farm those 4-1. Also, Digizine making the pivot in kickoff. He was playing the Rays on this map, but I think
those days are over though. The only reason Iceland was so often was because of COVID stuff. No champs this year. Again, if Riot asks me, I'll go.
Part of the conversation, hey, we know Digizine's playing pretty aggressively towards Mound.
I know that there's a lot of streamers that like ask Riot to go. I'm not that guy.
Find that one, and this is going to force Pancada right back onto this A site. Well, not too far back, as he's always looking for a bit of a fight. Silence might look to try and fill this space. Wants to imply a move up here, but Pancada is unrattled.
Everyone right now from 2G on a solo mission, it's falling apart, right? The spacing towards A main. You've got LZ trying to take the timing before Silence is quite there. Now using the missiles to break open the door. They're finally doubled up, and that's going to be a good look for them.
It's very doable, 2v4.
Again,
gonna get a good plant. Still has drone, never gonna have a chance to use it, but has ult. Door opens, so they're gonna. Ooh, okay.
One towards upper.
Ah, it's a shame.
Here's Digizine now finding his third in the round. He got busy over at C yet again, and will finish off the job. With that Neon ultimate, there's a huge pick he finds on Askia there. Able to find a kill over towards the player, I think trying to flank him at C. He does a lot of work, even though we don't see it in this round.
Honestly, I think round 5 is going to be the do or die for 2G, right? You're on the attack side of Lotus, this side massively
Imagine how different the league would be if M81.
Right now,
yeah.
Dropping 4-0 after losing
big fumble by them.
The anti-bonus. It is show up now or
Spike was also a huge factor.
And that's that sort of Taeho ultimate that's been held since like round 3 or so now. This is what's happening behind the scenes. Digizine just tearing things open after LZ. Spikes, rather Silence try to make something happen in the A side.
Looks to me like 2G are going to try a more committed A-lobby fight. They've done a lot of the slower play, but Loud are sort of calling their bluff, throwing out a wall, a stun, seizing the space back immediately.
Yeah, a ton of early util here from the defenders.
Okay, big buy rounds.
Despite that
Let's
Prowler
see.
needed to be cleared. Relay Bolt will catch onto the Aura, but it's not a line that DJZ can capitalize on.
PXS just stunned Dasky.
Not great.
It's all good. They got the space anyways.
Yeah.
Smoke goes down onto stairs, but I
Okay,
still
they
like
take
Loud's
A.
positioning. They're leaning 4 players on this side of the
Question mark
map.
created. They got a
Pancada, by the way,
smoke,
has
yeah.
the ultimate, so as the C anchor, he can quickly rotate into
Stay
A for the
around.
fight.
They haven't really done too much.
DG need to figure out how they
Waiting
tease
for
Loud out of
recharge
formation on this
util,
A side.
maybe?
It's just a flashpoint deployed there. 2G is still hiding in Baby Door, so 2G are no closer to satisfying their win condition in this round than they were a minute ago.
Yeah, you can kind of expect with Gobera moving back in towards C to use the drone into that space, maybe try to fake some kind of hit. They threw out the Vise flash too, so that's 2 players seen, but you can see
They don't like what they've seen.
Oh,
There's nothing to be gotten. Maybe a last-minute pivot over towards the B side. They've got to get through a
Ooh.
couple of these players.
Big
Things
Joe.
are going better over on the A side at least. Husky down. DGZ eventually caught out here. PXS able to
Yeah,
try and
they
make
take
his
that
way
one.
through a tree. But DGZ
Spike
started to
goes
inch
over
forward
towards
here.
B.
Might be a pivot over towards the B
Damn,
side.
dude,
There's
we're on the
just some of these
boards.
duels are straight up being won.
Pancada's
Another one
been
for
good,
PXS.
but this is too much.
And Pancada, after having ulted away, is it a 1
I mean, they
versus 4?
just won individual duels. DG's in
smoked off. He's
messed
in
up a
a
little
really
bit.
tough spot to play this round. It's good post-plant utility for 2G, so I don't really think Pancada's going to try for anything here. Maybe play for some exit frags, take some guns away. Money's not too great from 2G.
It just looks like a muddy around. They push up into tree. Got a bit messy. Pancada seems inclined to attempt something here, at least maybe look to keep a lid on the economy as some of 2G want to filter out of this B side back to safety, but they have taken the safe routes away. And there will be nothing for Pancada to see. Trying to go for a tick goal here. 2G time. He's got to harm it to util for the Tail on the side. Quick double back for 2G, and they will.
Hey, you got one.
Could have been scary, but give up a gun.
You got one.
I'm glad 2G were in range to hear that spike defuse because he
absolutely yeah,
absolutely
dude,
had
it's
time
so
to
annoying
full stick without
sometimes.
any util to stall it out.
I said
You're right, this tree
thought
fight
that
was a little bit muddy
I said I thought
from
the nerf
Loud,
would come
for sure
in
slipping up on the
for
micro, but I like the
Toronto.
macro
I mean
idea
for
from
champs,
2G,
but
right? The fake
honestly,
was obvious,
I think
right?
maybe
Loud
for
weren't
stage
fooled
2.
by that, but then those 2 C players ended up
Like
walking
when I'm
front
visually
B
watching,
to
if
set
I
up
if
for
I
the
are visually
overload into
watching
the
these
site for
games
the
as
boost.
well,
That
even
was
if it's
very
like
well
10%
called
of the
from
games that we
2G's side.
watch,
After
you
finding
can
very
just
little on
see
the
that
A side
it's
that round and dealing with a lot of
first of all,
util to block them
it's
out.
not
And
good.
that's
It's not
LZ
fun.
stepping into the
It's not
IGL
fun to
role for the
watch.
first time for this
It's
team.
awful. Second of all, it's super strong.
Commits
And
the
then,
Prowler.
third of all,
And
if
the
you don't
rest
watch
of the
anything, you
Tail
just look at the
util's coming in. He
numbers.
might look to try and get
It's got like a 70% pick
Ends up
rate.
being riddled with bullets inside the dark cover.
Still big ultimates for
So
2G to play with.
I think I'm going to change my Teo enough date to
Cleared away.
beginning of stage 2.
I think after the success of the last
Like
round,
right
looking
after
for this,
Toronto.
slow pace,
Or they like
re-hit
announce it
into
during
angle
Toronto.
is going to be the move. They just show the paranoia actually and are moving back into C. Only Pancada there to hold them.
It's a pretty big commitment on the A side of the map. Here comes that dimensional drift though. Gate crash and Pancada will be spotted out here. He has to know exactly what the game plan is from here on out. Trapwise spotted. Clone is going to trigger it. Husky likely going to emerge here up towards the side and try and make the play. Loud are getting ready though. Set up towards halls.
Yeah, Vinny's got a stun ready to go as well. So as soon as the spike goes down, I think Loud are going to get moving.
Pancada has a swing, doesn't see a whole lot, and
Oh,
that's a
no,
paranoia
flash.
that does
Neon
connect with the
sends
player
it.
over towards the side.
Ooh.
DJZ is first up. 2 years going to try and
Flash
work in
didn't
from
really
waterfall,
do
but
this
DJZ falls.
much.
Fault line connecting onto
Oh,
the
it's a
side
great
for now.
tail.
And there's that Armageddon that's been held onto for the longest time. Clears that space and puts time pressure on Loud.
Tons of pressure, yeah. With
Yeah,
Pancada
very
getting
nice.
shot out too.
2 in a
Loud
row,
called
5
to save.
surviving, money's
They're 3
here.
on 4. They've just taken way too much damage. Look at Tui's and
They're,
Pancada.
they're
Down
in
to
this,
so little
chat.
HP.
They're in this.
That'll be that. 2G going to be able to get their second on the round, and it was really up to DJZ in 2 years, right? One on the site, one by that waterfall area. Neither really able to find anything to speak of. So 2G exiting around, chance to build some economy, to get a spike plant. They keep all their
Reduce the
rifles.
distance.
All
I
good
think
signs.
Very good signs. Whether it's
They
finding
normally
that
go
spam
for, like,
kill over
easy
towards A at the
fix.
start, finding the first blood.
Easy fixes
And then
has
rotating
always
into C,
been
using that,
what
your
normally
ultimate
goes
early,
down,
getting all
so
the
I
scouting
do
down, not
just
taking
think
any
they
chances.
up
I think
the...
that tail ult was really effective too at dividing
How long
up
it takes
Loud.
to
You had one
regen.
player running back into spawn, 2 other players trying to run in and take the fight. completely separated the actual site players.
They were so OP. Is it excusable for teams to not play him? I mean,
really delivering in terms
yeah,
of
you can still win. You can still win games without playing him. There's other broken agents at the moment. That's the issue. It's just the fact that this is the easiest to use.
And we go once more. Fight for Mound.
It's the easiest to use and it combos insanely well.
Pretty far forward trap wire,
Bloyton, thank you so much for the Prime. Appreciate the 9 months. Thank you for that. Thanks for the Prime.
Doesn't even look like Tweez has placed the camera yet either. Some options to work around with that is they tap the front B door to put a lot more pressure on that solo anchor of Kawa. He falls back.
It's just the fact that you can make, you can do Theory with a Teo. Like you could literally do the Theory and be good with this comp in a day. That's all the practice you would need, in my opinion.
Shoot that thing.
All right, Gate Crash dealt with. Here comes the stealth drone as well. Everything including
like 4 scrims.
Now.
Server time for an hour before. Server time midway through. I think you can get pretty good with this comp.
The defenders back onto the A side, but 2G are not committed yet.
Whole bunch of util
because it's so simple and easy to learn everything.
Onto the fault line. So getting into tree could be big. He's just gonna face it with the stun. Turning around the corners, Dudges in. Doesn't even care. Gets the opener and
pivot over towards B is actually kind of nice here.
Yeah, again, it's a contingency of heading over
Does Tui stay? Oh my god, he pushes forward. That is not the reaction, my guy.
Can't play from upper, it's smoked out anyway. So again, 2G with a late round pivot to B.
Pixel, thank you so much. Thank you. Appreciate that.
4 players need to work through upper and Lincoln, and Nightfall will herald their arrival.
Ult goes in. In reaction, Visal goes in. There's a really important jewel at door. Bro. Chat, this is... Especially if... so Loud definitely need a timeout. If Loud are going to make individual mistakes like this, they honestly will struggle on this map.
Have a good old college try. He'll find absolutely nothing. So 2G again, like it's such a huge dump of util early in these rounds. Just
the mid-rounding was good. No, the mid-round for 2G here was really nice. In the 4v5, it's like the best thing they could possibly do.
And they just duel well.
Yeah, Tui's kind of disrespected the ability for players to just be up in the front.
You missed the DRX games, freaking good on Sentinel. Oh, bro. His Vice looks really nice. His aim just looks insanely good.
The coin did not come up heads for him and is punished for it.
This is that deft little sidestep by Digizine. And that's 2 years, yeah, again, with 2 angles to cover, essentially.
I could be trolling. I'm not sure if Tui's ever put down his camera that round.
This round was just Loud making mistakes? Oh, for sure. This is like the best example of like the domino effect. Got one person. There was one earlier today on Pacific as well from PaperX, I think. Well, I say one. There's honestly about 10 from PaperX, but this is like one of the better examples. One person makes a mistake and everything just goes wrong. Then you end up like using an ult and then they can use an ult back, and then it just becomes so costly all because of one mistake.
Good delay on that camera, trying to see if it was going to be fake pressure into rotating A or that pause into a
okay, force them down to an eco. Money is outrageous, by the way. So 7K, we got a lot of people that are 5K, so they can all get relatively close to 8, 9K. They create pressure over towards C, isolate the one over towards A. You'd argue that maybe he played a little bit too aggro as well, but still nice.
Yeah, maybe even he can do some damage here, stall out with a stun to rotate players in, and that Stinger backside we've seen teams really struggle to deal with.
That Teo util hits pit and back A. Vinny, those had time to get to upper. But they're off the side entirely allowed. These Stingers, though, they do want to try and dive in and get their feet a little wet. Kawanzine only able to find LZ for his trouble, and it's up to Pancada, who, again, hailing public transport to get to A still.
Yeah, I feel sorry for Pancada.
How about that?
A lot of time he's just left 1vx.
4 rounds in a
okay,
row?
incredibly rough start for 2G. When they started getting the guns, they just look better, which is worrying.
Over for me. But no, TUG have brought
this
it
is the
all
first
the
time
way back.
PXS has ever played Breach. He mostly
side.
plays Jet, Rage, Chamber.
Delayed, refights over into A.
I mean, yeah, it's gonna be a hard one for him, but
it's pretty clear to see that Loud are trying to be assertive to gain control of Rubble. but there's one round where they like lose a player through smoke.
When you get the call up, you got to do it.
Having to get that space and allow 2G to pivot over towards the B side and punish
this
on his own.
This literally is going to be a timeout of
just
just, guys, we can't make individual mistakes like this. Like we keep giving away a kill. And then on a map with 3 sites where the rotates are so important, you just get so wrecked. It doesn't even need to be anything tactically, like they're tactically playing fine. They're just making unnecessary risks.
And their B site also becomes a problem without Cypher utility to keep it covered in the mid round. So I'd expect Loud to make a big pivot coming into a round like this, maybe change the location of the Cypher, maybe fight more aggressively with a stack of 3 or 4 players instead of spreading out so much.
How would you fix Paper X?
There's a sense that even though they're quite thinly
I think it's too late, man.
Loud don't want to play for these retake scenarios.
I think it's too late.
Right? Like 2 years is smoked in upper on B and he still wants to push.
The thing is that
Link. He wants to,
there's so many different routes. We were speaking about it earlier. There's so many different routes.
Side of the map, lest they, go be late in the round and
they've like gone with a route which is going to take a good amount of time, and they don't have time.
The bank has been built up beautifully. They're still got a Rolling Thunder to work with.
And again, they're doing the 2-1-2.
If I was to join the team now,
2 players into tree, opening the
I
door,
would
maybe using the stun if they see someone. Feels a little passive for
honestly, I would go heavy double duelist. I would scrap the rolls at the moment. I would make sure something plays Prac and then plays about 8 hours of ranked on Euro a day. And just tell him he's got to play Euro every map, basically. Euro or Chamber every map.
Louder overextending themselves
just double duelist.
On multiple fronts without much utility to play off of on C. That's an ego fight from Pancata.
I think he could get good in a week.
Not easy for him to get out of that spot either.
No.
Jing ISO, yeah. Jing ISO, Jing raise.
Sort of trying to take this fight with teleport coming up on high. 2G are into the site.
Here we go, Rolling Thunder thrown out by the defenders. Is there a chance here for Loud to
good ult back. I definitely think that DG's in just cleans this one up though.
But it's going to be a trade on the site. Loud down to 3, and they're still very much at the extremity.
Just got the spike out in the open. How do these two handle it? They have salvos. That's the only bit of util they have to get this back a set.
3 players facing him. Oh, he's going to fall. And that's just too early. Kalanzine is going to be late to the party, so Digizin getting it active here with the Zappy hands. 1 kill up from back in CT. Kalanzine now puts the pressure as Digizin falls back, but it allows the spike to go into the hands of Askia.
Telegraph though, Digizin obviously makes a hell of a lot of song and dance about
the but Paper X probably shouldn't do that because they put so much time into trying to have like normalized roles that it would be probably a waste to stop on the path. I think once you've chosen a path in that team, you have to 100% it.
Good read the players. At least one is going to be coming in from water.
Time of the essence, of course. There is a haunt here for Kalanzine that has just come
back. Would you say that ISO is viable in every map? Almost every map, yeah.
Grouped up, LZ and Askia. One of
the only map that probably it doesn't work on is
Askia just doesn't have an opportunity to have backup from LZ. Is that back spot? It's
well, honestly, no. I think every map.
Shots come in and Digizin exits with 4.
Okay, very nice. We said Digizin would clean this one up. I didn't really think it would go exactly like this. I thought it was going to kind of speed up, but obviously had the spike.
No smokes for Loud, and he just gets 4 kills there fighting into sand.
It's funny
how
I
think you can play ISO on every map.
Early on defense, like really changes the complexion of the round. You don't have that stall.
And it would look good.
Whatsoever. No
the ISO win rate, by the way, is very high at the moment.
Look where the spike gets dropped. It's the Rolling Thunders that come from both sides that throw things into utter chaos.
I think it's one of the reasons why they're going for that flank there, because they don't have smoke, so you can't let the other team play off site. That's not going to work. They're just going to be able to shoot you down.
Double duelist? Yeah, double duelist. You can't play solo ISO.
Has the frag total of his team combined.
You would get wrecked more than they're getting wrecked at the moment.
15. Not too bad.
All right, here's Digizin on the swing. Oh, okay.
Everyone's flashed.
One for white allows Pancata at least to fill that space here towards Mount.
No idea about Askia.
He's playing so active, way in front of his utility towards
everyone's like, especially Tui's, like he's playing really aggro.
Contact play the defenders are trying to do on the extremities. Now the 3v3, Vinny just quickly pops in there, and that is such a crucial kill. The spike loose towards the A side now, and time bought for Loud to get their ducks in a row.
Even Askia getting scouted out on site, and up in hand is uncomfortable. Doesn't have a gun to switch into. Loud tripled up in stairs.
Scary prospects. Oh, buddy! Now this little 3-piece from Loud makes short work of Gobera.
It's unlucky, man.
Now has a bite taken out of him, caught inside this util. It's a matter of time. The vultures are circling it. Okay, yep, all right. Fair enough.
He only had 1 bullet with it.
Vinny, but eventually,
dude, when the no-scope hit, it's like, hold up.
I promise you, STK was calling for this sort of counter default, this different opening to round in the timeout, right? Didn't want to make it obvious the round immediately after the timeout, but here we come in, Cypher's playing to the C side, it's an aggro piece into sand. I really like that look with the deep fault line too.
I mean, you called for this, you said one of the options for Loud is to like you go really aggressive and push very hard on one of those extremities, just like overload a side of the map.
In fact, now they win the default round, can run the aggro round again. Now 2G are wondering, well, is it a different kind of aggro round? Could they go back in the default? I would choose to go back to, honestly, what hadn't been working for them too well. In the default.
Okay, 6 defense side rounds here for Loud, nothing to scoff at. TP for LZ. Doesn't stick up, it doesn't see anything in
yeah, but it kind of gets the info though, so they know they don't have to use much heal.
Here for Loud on this B side. Kaunzin want to find that initial timing. It won't be served up to him now. Vinny, well, in for a penny, in for a pound. He is trapped in that position and teaches him with it off, has to peer in.
Eyes on C right now, opening
It's
the
a
door.
nice fast B, yeah.
It's 2G on that
To be
fight.
honest.
It goes around and Tui's gets the first kill.
I think people
Louder
could,
tried to fight out through main,
people
but
could
the
steal
positioning
this
is
more with the
terrible for them.
Omen.
KG
Especially when
allows
people
him
are
to
playing
split this
like a
up little bit,
breach
but it is
Omen
allowed.
or
Very thinly stretched on resources, down to 2 players.
for knowing like exact
2G
info on
not
where to
offering
Util
anything
is
here for
good.
free. LZ is a problem
Normally
for
can't really
Tui's.
do it because it's
Eventually
like
just
what would
taps
you
the
combo
timing.
it with, but
Kaunzin call of the
when
site,
people are
surrounded
playing
by
breach
4. It
comps,
a
this
tough
is actually a
job,
very
and
nice strat on
2G
B.
will fight back. These B hits have been very successful for them.
And this time too, LZ sticking back in B main, right? Sort of reading that that fight was going
Why
to
do you
come
never
in
put
through
Scream
the
on
open door.
Senti?
That late
Because
dagger in the back
on
of Loud's
E1
flank
is like
works
every round
wonders
on
for 2G.
Duelist.
It's able to nullify 2U's ability.
Who do you want me to put on
actually get
Duelist
involved,
instead?
do a
Yampy?
crossfire with Kaunzin.
For sure. It seems like 2G in these B post plants have done a lot of sort of
Also, he
solo
wants to
plays in a way.
rotate.
They fight for a
So
lot
Senti
of these
doesn't
different
really
ways.
work for him.
There's 4 ways to attack into the B site. Usually teams will fight for 2 of them and they'll group up. 2G are playing 3 lanes, very individual, but it's working for them.
Okay, Cypher over at A site. This time it's going to be Digizin and Pancada once again, but again the weaponry not great. Neither of them. Lots to work with, but the Vandal in Digizin's hands will account for the Oru.
50-50
now the
Joe.
push out of C. A lot of control on this part of the map, and it's going
They can definitely speed up as they see that ult go in though. 2 kill trips, and I like this from Tui's though. Much as he's been making some questionable plays, he goes to the area, leaves the site, and actually plays off of his trips to try to get some
Those
kills.
trips are not going to be relevant whatsoever this round.
Yeah, but the trips kind of give him a good amount of
Ever 2
info.
years,
They
but
know
that's
that
also completely
at least
irrelevant
pushing
now.
through
It's
this smoke is
2G.
no one's
And
close.
much noise is ahead
So
of
they could
Wild
smoke here and
Wildebeest.
push through.
Pancada sets up in that really
Yeah, this was
nasty
nice, though.
position towards Mount.
Another Visor, only hit the 2 here.
Secondaries only, time ticking down. They've got to start to make way towards this site. Still 4 players up here for 2G. A lot of that stall, that post plant
stun.
into the work with, but they're going to try and overload in a tree. Gobera finds himself just the one. Still ticking away. 2G have to work with this now as PXS in upper is going to send that fault line in. As C's comes in, LZ can't be involved in this fight, but he's stuck inside the dark cover and finds his. Picard dives in. Just a 1-for-1. PXS has to
Very
stop
nicely
this.
done.
But it's
Yeah, pretty much
just
after
sheer
the
weight of
timeout,
numbers
right?
for Loud.
They looked a lot better.
Exiting the half with that 7 defense side routes.
Very successful half
Protocol,
there for Loud. 7 on
retakes,
defense.
Util look good.
And recovering after losing 4
Still
in a
think
row
2G
in the
did
middle
great,
of
to be
that
honest
half.
with you.
Put up a
Like
really
4-0
strong
down
performance
to
after
get
that
5.
timeout.
Yeah, the adjustment's subtle, I think, at times here for Loud, but really quite effective. Making sure they converge and do play
Where do we
for a
think
full
Chet is signed
retake
to? Wait,
here,
did
as
Chet
opposed
get
to
signed?
The first half of this defense side, but they kind of wanted to get ahead of it a lot of the time and served up a lot of free kills for players looking to clear angles on their own.
In Valorant or
Well, folks,
CS?
that is a pretty
I guess you guys are talking about
frenetic,
Valorant.
I'd say,
You
first
posted
half
on
of
Twitter.
Lotus. We'll be back after this break with round number 13 to see if Loud with this 2-round lead can keep it going.
Oof, stuck paying for that old phone? Don't be. You know, at Verizon, we'll pay off your phone. And you'll get iPhone
where would it
16
be?
on us. That's a
You
value of up
imagine
to
it would be America's.
$1,600, only on Verizon.
Any coaches having a rough time? Anyone need assistant coach? UG. Could be tier 2. Could be tier 2. Could be like Wait, who's the Sentinels Academy coach at the moment? Envy? Do they have a coach? Dapper? But they only have one coach, right? So it could be helping them out, and they could double head coach it or something. I'm just trying to think who has like money. They have 2 already, as in Sentinels Academy. It'll be M80. Yeah, I reckon you guys are right. It sounds like a tier 2 team.
It's quite clear that the individual
Cupid
quality
signed him?
is there,
Okay.
and they've been able to leverage that. And some
I see.
messier
Liquid
rounds
Jet.
to get 5 on the board. But for Loud, there's one individual that
the Academy
stands
team.
above the others. It's Digizine with a 17-kill first half. He's been looking electric, and that pun is entirely intended.
Yeah, he's kind of a monster there on the Neon, especially that round he had the ultimate, pulling the 4K, getting the course corrected up against 2G. But now 2G moving on to defense, the harder half, they're trailing. And
We have no conflict. We got it checked.
See what PXS is able to do in the breach slot. 3 days ago, he was playing in Brazil Challengers. Now he's on the stage here.
Yep, life comes at you fast. For better or for worse, as it may be. Paranoia here off the fault line timing. Ask you really.
Okay, must-win pistol for 2G.
Ultimately decides to gate crash out as he realizes that this has just been.
They insert the Neon, so they're obviously going back over towards C. They got the deep camera, they gave him full info here. They open the door, they pop the vines. Show pressure. Can they find the wall? It's the deeper wall than normal.
The spike is moving back into
this
C.
is the play, mate. Perfect. Now they can go back over towards C. The lovely pistol.
Absolutely going to be catnip to LG.
It's good re-clear of the pressure, though.
You just want to stick around here.
I love this too, leaving Tui's in this space outside of
It says Rezi's been signed by...
Hear the footsteps rotating out. He hears the
Wait, you guys are saying M8 as in M80, yeah?
Well, okay, just chill for the time being. You're stunned up
You guys
inside
are
that
kind
dark
of saying
cover.
gentlemates right
Very
now.
quickly,
I don't
2G,
think
the
that's the
swarm of them
thing.
going to try and make their way over towards halls, but so much info gain. Cowanzine with the big C's that catches on the multiple, and LZ's forced to turn tail. Still whips around and finds the headshots. Unreal.
And this flank isn't coming in fast enough with how 2G are getting back onto the site. 2 players, Pancata and Vinny, pushed away from the site using the blast to try and stall out.
Smoke goes.
Come in. It's 1 kill for him. That might not be enough.
So many low HPs. Oh no, they gotta win some duels. Together, boys, together. Smoke. Let him spam a little bit. Tap it. Yeah. Nice. It's on. It's actually on.
2G though, great pivot into a defuse.
1-1 pistol.
That's great. How is LZ getting 2 kills there with the classic? Full stunned.
This is
I know how.
says
It's a right click. It's
Exactly.
just that simple. Like, what is the bro's full? Okay, the first one he wasn't stunned.
Dude, what is that second right click though? Look how bottom
connecting
right
on both of
is.
his right clicks.
Oh my
Hello?
goodness. All the right clicks went top left.
I mean, this is that individual quality we've got to talk about. LZ, 15 and 8.
Dude, Loud call like a near perfect round. Fully bait 2G into A. They've got a flank going on, a fast timing with Tui's hearing the footsteps. Nah, it doesn't matter. LZ's just going to kill everyone. It's on 15 kills.
A wise man once said, you get shot, you die. Loud definitely could be frustrating after that one because they did everything right, it felt, until the rubber hit the road. This time, actually a bit of a thrust in that B-side direction. We'll draw out the Omen util. Smoked out, and Digizine will cross and embed himself.
Sheriff, Ghost,
Door side,
2G, not wanting to get eco'd, everyone buys a gun and double stingers.
Bait anyone to walk out
Outlaw.
of the smoke when he taps the door, but they're about to run into
LZ saved him?
Neon
Yeah,
wall
he's
on
got a
this
couple
side
of
the map.
rounds.
PXS
this game.
stun should be back up soon, so this is not going to look good in the moment.
Man, okay, Outlaw starting to sing. And it's a funeral dirge for Loud, at least for 2 years. And this is going to provoke them to pull right on back. And frankly, LZ hasn't taken a ton of real estate here towards A. Very disciplined, but surely an attempt for Loud here with 45 seconds on the clock to challenge for rubble control.
Again, hearing the footsteps come on through, though. Should be pretty
Okay, mate, you can get out of there.
No fall line
Smoke
actually
close,
being charged.
TP
Hold on,
away.
help this guy out! How is LZ out of there?
And he still has a TP as well, just in case he gets a bit messy. Loud path entirely through tree though. LZ can catch a nasty paranoia and bleed more clock. Now he can get embedded on the site with his stinger.
God, he really might farm this.
LZ playing all on his own right now. Look at moving around the map. That's 1 kill for him. Tracks into the second floor, pulling out the ghost. And some help from up above. 2G make quick work Loud on this round.
They only lost the Stinger and 1 armor.
And I was worried maybe without Zap that this 2G team might be a bit muted, maybe a little bit quiet, maybe a little meek, demure even. Yeah. No, they're definitely making some noise out there on the stage, and after a round like that, you can't blame them. They have evened up the game after a conversion on the pistol.
I'm not going to lie, that fault line came in way too late from TXS, but it didn't matter somehow. I don't know how LZ's able to survive there. Then he's getting the perfect paranoia, sprinting into backside. Look, he's getting the kills, he's getting the util down, he's calling the game. There's a far cry from the teleport into the Cypher trip against TA.
Oh, the nasty, nasty Haven map. All right, little can action there.
hope for sure. There's 2 people that can get one shot right now.
Can't connect there. I mean,
ooh, it's a great start, and they picked up the orb over towards A. They're thinking ahead. They're gonna try to get ults early.
What's going on here? This is 2G's
Wait, they have a really good shot. They have a really good shot at this.
The kiss of the outlaw. With only that half armor.
Important that Digizin on the Neon, who's taking first contact, does have the heavy armor. So, not as punishing in theory if they do exec into the Oru.
Oh, we're really going back to the raid boss. Okay.
I don't know.
He is the raid boss. Come up close, TP to sight.
Cover himself away, so he'll give up a little bit of the A side, but scale
the drone's incredible. They lose A control, they insta drone to see if the plan was to pivot. Sorry, was to go into a B split.
Still got full util. There's options now if LZ wants to fight up against the opening of the door.
Go over towards A. LZ is a little bit in trouble though.
Complete rat angle in the
yeah, they gamble a little bit over towards C. LZ's got to do a lot here.
No. What is this positioning?
It's unlucky. Probably should have left side, but kind of almost got one.
Oh, PXS! Pancada able to abuse that 10 spot there to find an easy one, and Silence will swing into this line. Pancada's able to get away just in time.
Okay, it's about damage now.
Give him 25 in a second.
EG's in up here, can tank a shot. So
Saskia trying to make so much noise coming in from Heaven. The rest of his team working out from main side, but as he falls, it all goes down on these 2 players outside stairs. Good fight from Vinny, the swing from Kalanzine.
Okay, look kind of convincing from Loud here. They just first of all 2G gambled because they didn't have info over towards C. Right, so they gambled heavier over towards C, and then the one played a little bit individual over towards A. Maybe the numbers you want to get out of there.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like 2G got every insane timing possible and then didn't make it happen. Whether it was this fight here, Pancada turning around, TXS can't quite get the kill. The fight that LZ took backside too.
Vice forms are so busted right now. Oh, for sure.
But can't get
Chat,
the
on the
shot
contract
either.
sign
Like,
gift to
the
stamp
was
the
good,
contract,
timings
it
were
shows
good.
the
shots just
Gentlemates
barely
logo.
not there.
Yeah, but I mean, that could be bait. I just don't think it would be Gentlemates. I really don't.
Once again, assertive play towards Rubble, even more so than previous rounds from 2G. That does mean that Mound is going to be a little easy to conquer.
Yeah, and Silence put his wall over on B this round, so it doesn't have that extra layer of defense. Yeah, it's really just his gun against the world on C.
Launching thorns.
That smoke coming in, Digizine does clear the Razorvine for essentially free. Camera also thrown down for 2 years, and Silence doesn't really have
it doesn't really
here.
make
Clear
sense.
Through that. Finally, Askia joins him.
The tier 2 teams that you guys were mentioning earlier makes way more sense.
He broke the camp from back CT, so Silence position might be less predictable.
Okay.
It's still getting cleared with the utility. That is brutal.
Yeah, Seas and that aftershock combined perfectly to guaranteed elimination. What is LZ looking for? Just to try and reinforce here from back halls. Pancada. Stealth now completely dispensed with.
Okay, let's see it. Omen flow, Omen flash breach damage.
Oh, but it's messy. Pancada being able to get forward though, and 2G just rushed themselves.
Yeah, I think they run away with it now as well. They're pushing down to an eco.
That teleport over into the quick retake with
I think we lost the belief, chat.
Loud got up in their faces though. Nice post plant from them, not trying to risk it and back off play time off site. Just putting bodies into the mix.
Maybe an inflection point that round though. 2G's economy essentially broken. Just a really awkward retake attempt from them there. It's got to feel like a lot of weight off your shoulders for Loud. Feel like you
How Riot did not announce the map rotation for the next act yet? Probably because they're adding a new map in, right? So they'll wait a little bit later.
Looking like a fight over towards Rubble. Fault line comboed with the blast, but Digizin is up in front of this.
We're overdue a map at the moment.
A side is open.
Yeah, no need to waste any time here. Loud definitely know they've got a huge economic edge. This time an A site that's pretty open might likely see Loud path 4 through tree once more. They're a little concerned about what could be waiting for them, Baby Door.
Yeah, sometimes you see on these He goes full stack over towards the sites. Instead, they freeze it out and they wait. Now in a 4v5, expect 2G to go on some walks. So yeah, front B, we're getting a little bit active, seeing what we can find.
There's a camera there though for 2 years. There's actually so much to spot this out early. Vinny, they didn't have anyone to play off the fault line, but at least is able to waylay LZ.
Here.
Yeah, as soon as this guy checks the camera, he's going to go, well,
for the defense into an area that is
2 pushed aggro.
well cordoned off essentially by
I don't know
these
if we
trap
clicked
wires.
the cam. Like,
Wait.
are we aware of the step up? We're not.
Oh! Okay, golden opportunity goes begging for LZ. He kind of gives it up as well. And Loud don't look back. They realize they can probably still pressure this A side of the map here.
What is
Fast
going
lane
on
thrown
up? We're teleporting into C because our Cypher's in there. There's still players in front B. 2G are up here, but not taking the fight.
They saw the Dink Sparks as well.
But at least the spike is on a site.
It's still a good reaction from 2G in the 4v5.
We never clicked the camera front B. Doesn't matter. Knew he was there
LZ,
anyways.
I mean,
God,
they
the
both
extent
missed
that
a
Loud have gone
shot.
here
It's
too
not like
to make
it's a
sure that there's an
50-50.
antidote to chaos in this round where they know
50-50
there's going to
blame
be
for it.
anti-eco strats thrown at them. They're so meticulous.
Sometimes
They
it
are
happens.
So almost schizophrenic about where they end up on the map. Silence brought down. It's coming up to PXS here.
Oh, no, make it stop, man. That's just not okay.
Make it stop.
Another 4K for Digizine. I would say 30 bomb not out of the question here. He is
Do
farming.
you think there's a chance
26
for all
and
the
12
4
after
champs
18 rounds.
APAC teams to be
You know,
Korean,
I was
for
trying
sure?
to get some real fake stats
I would say there's a good
ready
chance for that.
for this event.
I like
'cause
fake
was like, PXS is coming out. I wonder if he's played against any of these guys before. Last year, he played against Digizin and Oskia, actually, on Hero Base. And he farmed Digizin. He was playing in the duelist slot. That's not happening this game. Has no bearing on this game.
I'm pretty sure you got someone impersonating me on Facebook. Yeah, someone else said this before. I don't know what I can do about it, mate.
Last year, I feel like one of the criticisms was we're not seeing a lot of like the depth in the sort of LATAM and Brazilian region. Like, where are the tier 2 players, right? Everyone was saying it's so hard for them to get the experience to play unless they're already in America or can get, you know, somehow a shot onto some of these teams. But, you know, it started with MIBR. I think like scouting real homegrown talent from Brazil. Now a Brazilian team ascending. We are starting to have these conversations. We start to see what this region is able to churn out. And in 2G's case,
Report him? Yeah,
well,
report him
it's
for
been
me.
a little bit ill-fated, right? I think they're
For sure.
still trying to find
guess
themselves. I feel like
every
Loud
time we see
represents
people
the
comment on it, we just
pillars
get them to
of
report
the
'em.
Brazilian community, whereas, you know, MIBR is doing it with some of those new, younger faces. So we get much more this year, I feel like, than we ever have.
Yeah, Loud was almost the opposite in a way, going back to Digizin, and that kind of raised a lot of eyebrows in the offseason. Like, oh, is he the guy? Are we going for him? Give him another
26
shot.
to
He's been
12.
lights out his jet every time he's played Haven apart from
Absolutely loving
last
it.
time. But during kickoff was elite. This map, he's definitely
I
farming.
think they went back to the well with Pancata as well, right?
Yeah.
So far, not so bad. Definitely looking very good. I'll put him in the top 4 after kickoff, happily.
Steak and
like what I
egg.
was
Thank you
saying
so much for
since
the
the
prime. Appreciate the
offseason.
6 months.
Okay, these cameras for 2 is getting a pretty large amount of value in these early rounds. Okay, well. Spot the Omen up there. LZ going to be spotted. Probably the player you're trying to steer
Nice
clear
shot.
of here, and that's just clean shooting across Mound. But there is more where that came from. Cowanzine has friends and they are mad. PXS gets picked off. That's on B side. That's Pancata just fighting and timing there.
Yeah, go for the swing. You lost a player, it's my time to shine. Now Loud can sort of reset the round. Unclear how they want to make this move just yet, but I think they're leaving Digizin over towards C in case there was someone stepping out of that smoke. Shut that one down, then could quickly rotate back into the A space.
That, of course, is a concession for potential LZ playing up on Rubble, that paranoia thrown out. That will now be cleared. 43 seconds in the round. Note that Digizine is still inserted over at C, like we've seen in the past.
Yeah,
just in
Schizo,
case there's a
just
push up from the Sentinel there.
report him.
This team is definitely going back into C. I was wondering if maybe it could be a B split later,
see if it
but
does
no,
anything.
instead leaving 2Es for full audio into A,
Ooh.
taking his timing, but
Big
great
play.
walk-up from LZ.
Big
Again,
play. He
risky
cleared over
moves, but
towards
the
A. Here comes the
scouting he gets
rotate.
is
They get
massive.
2 over
Allows
towards
Oscar
C.
to rotate quickly into A, into C.
Yori just dodged it. He's sending it.
Timing here. He's pretty close there on Waterfall. Through to smoke. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, Digizine
Now you
caught
go your
out,
own
tries
ult.
to go in with that ultimate. Vinny though on the side. There's going to be a plant here for Loud. 2 players left. Time getting
Salvos
short.
to stop the
Mateo
plant.
Gibson's gonna force
No,
him
they
back.
can't
Vinny
plant
might
no
be
matter what
interrupted
here.
By the player emerging from the dimensional drift. Askia tries for it. He stops the plant though.
Very
And that's
nice.
what matters. That's what keeps 2G in the game.
Sure,
They'll
you
get
gotta
to
do
eight
like
here.
what, 4 more of these though before
Continuing
you
to
break
make
the
it competitive
econ.
on Lotus.
And then at
Huge
that point,
round
this
for 2G. Without
10,
that,
12.
without a win there, they can't buy into this next round. And without LZ stepping out of tree, right? That's a risky play, but it's very high reward when it works. Even if you don't find anyone, it allows your team to start leaning to C already. To get the lurk is just the icing on the cake.
Unreal early warning. Yeah, like
Anything that uses maps to learn as a new team,
Icebox.
Icebox.
Sees that it's a fake. Just 2 years left over on the A side of the map.
Icebox
That information flow
Abyss.
so crucial, so 2G can make informed decisions about how to distribute their defenders on such a big map.
Ones where you don't really have to think too much.
So far, double teleports. Oski is getting Pancata somehow top root, and LZ is up above. 2G continues to
Ascend,
win
yeah,
out
probably
in their
Ascend.
fights
Well,
until Kawa equalizes.
yeah, probably Ascend just because
2G
everyone
still
should know
creeping,
like all the basic
and
strats.
Louder out of the space.
Jeez, what do you say after that? Not much more to be done here at all, especially with 2 years falling there to Askia.
Chat, when do we start believing? Because
Rubble, apparently.
they just got a lot of money.
On Vinny. 2G get within
back
striking
to
distance of
believing?
Loud.
I know I just keep him. I'm
we're back
hyping
to
up
believing.
LZ, and I can't believe this is happening. But the thing is,
They
every
got
other
Vice
round, his
ult.
default
They're up against a
utility in
Fade
Rubble has
ult.
been doing a smoke
They're one away
on
from
his
a
side of Rubble
breach
on the
ult,
ground,
so they
and
could
he's
go
teleporting
aggro A
into that.
again.
So he's dodging away from flashes, but he's playing on the ground. This is the first time he's teleported up on high, so Loud are not expecting it. That's what ruins them here, the extra angles and the extra bodies.
Or at least it was a trend that we saw earlier on, because 2 years does cam that A main area the previous round.
It's
sees
nice
him
to
on
see the
Rubble,
coach
but it's
smiling.
later, like
Hasn't had much to
transitions
smile
up
about.
afterwards. So I would even think that would condition Loud to check there, but that's definitely not the plan. Very messy stuff. SDK with a timeout here, as you probably would expect. Loud have conceded 2 rounds now, and 4 in total of the 7 that we've seen on this second half. They stringed a nice little run of rounds together, and they're heading into a round now where they do have a Nightfall Neural Theft available, so plenty to work with, but it's been a little shaky for this team who we were filled with confidence from. A scrappy game against Crew.
Flash
Here
is
with
a
like,
low
maps being
value on
finished after only
Lotus.
15 rounds, a bit of a head scratcher there, but we're really trying to find where we should put this team in our internal rankings here for Loud. They're thinking, of course,
Yeah, I
about
kind of get
Masters.
where he's coming from.
They're thinking about Masters, but the fact they're only 1 round up against a 2G team.
Depends.
that just
if you
lost
play
their
against
IGL,
double
their best
smokes,
player in the opening game,
I think
and
it makes
lost
it
in,
easier.
like, 2 days
It's very hard to like
before
burst
this
into
match.
areas with
Like, Giggs has
flashes
just
anyway.
got here and are putting up this kind of a fight versus Loud. That makes you ask a whole lot of questions.
Pretty impressive stat there for Digizine as well. Usually, low
They're
first
at
death
Chat
per
this
rounds
week?
means
Tomorrow.
high first kill per rounds if you're a duelist. So
Tomorrow.
definitely a good stat to have. And this game in 26 and 14, you can't argue with it. They've got to keep him on the boil though.
What do you think about
This
Tui's?
is what I'm talking
He's
about with
definitely,
the teleport into the
he's
smoke
definitely
over
very,
trouble.
very good.
What
I do
LZ's
think
been
that
doing a whole lot with the
he.
C-site. A little bit worse for wear. Quick
Okay,
teleport
I'm making
from
a
Oski
lot of
puts them on
assumptions
this
right
side.
now, but I think he thinks they're going to win this game no
Solid
matter
across these
what,
players on
and so
site to
he's
double
made
up.
about 3 plays that have lost him
B-Main
rounds so
gets checked here
far.
by Gabera.
So I think he
And
just
that should tell you all you need
thinks
to
we're
know if
better,
you're an
this
A
is
player.
easy, it's
You know,
fine.
Omen spotted towards B, the rates of IME triggered on towards C. You just leave LZ where he is, and you've got a Steel Garden in case like you can find a cadence here for trying to interrupt the attack.
Either that or he's struggling with the roll slightly,
but it might be another insertion of
I
Digizine
don't think
here.
that's a thing.
They're milling about
Is
a
he
little
better
bit
on
on
smokes?
Mount.
Who's better on
They're trying to
smokes?
see
Yeah.
if they can maybe pull some rotates between B and C by
But
threatening the
Pancata
door,
is
working into B
one
after
of the
the
best.
sole
so.
scouting tool of 2Gs had been used so early in the round.
48 seconds here. Loud. It's such an important round. Money-wise, context of the game, it's all
Okay,
crucial.
we're gonna
They're
see
gonna
that
get
big
onto the C
retake.
side here. A nice paranoia
Is that big
there,
retake and 2G went aggro towards A? They picked up the breach ults. They have breach ults to retake
That's going to be a
with.
problem for Loud. They've struggled in these
Loud
retakes
kinda know
already.
it's
being
gonna
forced
happen, so they go for the good
off.
pawn. They get the
Yeah,
good.
that's
Wait, they
brutal
didn't
for
get it
Vinny.
down.
And now,
No
the
way, they
space
didn't
is
get the
retaken
pawn
by
down.
2G.
It's actually
They
so
got
done.
possession of the spike at that.
Oh god.
Loud's over.
Dude, it was so
It's
close.
over.
I thought it was done.
Loud
It
don't
was
have the
literally like
spike.
right
They're
at the
forced off
end.
the site. 3 players alive on full HP, and they can't do anything.
There it is, a terrible
Dude, they gotta
place
save.
for the spike to be dropped as it clattered down to the ground from that high
It's
area.
another insane
Again,
round
it
for
did cost
2G's
2G
money.
what you would expect it to,
They
right?
get
They have
3K.
to use both the Vice and
Sure.
Breach ultimates,
Everyone
but a round
surviving
win's a
gets an
round win. It's a
extra
tied game.
1.
And if you are checking the other ults in the game, right? Vinny and Kawa, they don't have ults charged up. There's
No,
no
they're
big ults
they're
coming
really
up
far
anytime
away
soon,
from
really,
ults.
for
It's
Loud.
insanely
Whereas
doable
2G,
to the
they're
point
two
of
away
where
from
you would say the
Gobert,
2G
from Askia's your ult as well. We are now in dire straits
are in a better
almost
spot.
for Loud, as their money's getting challenged and so are their ults.
And here's, of course, the follow-up. And Spike Plant attempted here. The shots came
Yeah, it
through.
was close.
Seconds.
I mean, I guess silver lining that the Spike falls to the low ground, but Loud were not in a
And they
position
use
to pick that
Fade
up.
ult.
That is savage. 26 kills for Digizine and still a question mark over whether they're going to be able to win the game. That's tough stuff.
Well, Loud moving quickly over towards Sand. They know Fall Line was used on the other side, so accelerating into C is possible. Not the easiest thing in the world versus Device still, and LZ has a paranoia, so the stall pretty effective for the time being.
And what we normally, oh my goodness, okay,
Dude,
LZ just...
LZ is out-aiming a lot of people.
Again, he finds a moment, it's almost reminiscent of that lurk he made out of Tree off that sort of very aggressive timing, but again, it's so impactful.
He's loved playing on that high angle when the door's rotating around. This time
He's just fighting. Every time he's fighting over towards C, he's getting one.
Might have put 2G into the lead.
He's either fighting over towards C or he's fighting early here.
Now with the drone spotting
he's
the
having a
front B,
lot of
there's still
success.
a wall here too, so Loud can't quickly
Yeah, dude, they're going to pivot over towards B and they got a wall.
And try to make something happen here, but no, they're just going to get stalled.
And now, plan C, the A side.
Okay,
As it may
TP.
be, Askia has to pull back, so this is at least going to be one of the
Nice. You
softer
need to go
parts of
get
the map for now,
info.
as
Oh, they
Loud
rotated wrong a bit.
tentatively ambling in.
But there's 35 seconds.
they rotated a little bit wrong.
On the breach. LZ can ultimate
Okay,
over into the
still not
site,
too
like,
bad.
Louder and serious
Oh my
time
God, he's just going to sit in the smoke the whole
They just
time.
want to go quickly here. That's why PXS rather is getting flashed off here, caught inside the smoke.
Oh my God, they're
Carnage!
standing.
PXS is able to find two. It's up to Finny now.
The boys.
For Loud.
The boys are actually doing it.
Situation.
2-9 loss
get in the lead.
bonus.
The bank is well and truly
Counts
broken.
in, can't
What
buy.
is going on? This doesn't
He's
make
going to have
any
to take
sense.
the hit.
2G are supposed to be the bottom of the league. They're supposed to have a new player coming in, and now up against Loud after last week very nearly toppling EG in that opening map.
Oh, the stand-in replacement? Yeah, that's true.
They made there as well. Now, just need to see it through versus Loud to go up 1-0.
These are the most treacherous of trap games.
He's like,
For a
what
team
the
like
hell?
Loud who, I lost
Something
here.
to cheer about.
They're thinking about their overall placement in the States. They lost their first game to Crew, right? Being 0-2 heading into week 3, it's just unconscionable for a team that has global aspirations.
And they're going for a half buy on this round. Shockingly. Couple of hero rifles, a Guardian. Digizine hand in hand with a couple of teammates front B. LZ who's been so good.
The
throughout this
contact
round.
walk-in is a great shot from Pancada. Let's see what the reaction's like.
He's at mineral theft. Information.
It's
For Loud,
such
they
a
don't know what's
hard
going on.
retake.
Over towards that
Askia
B-side,
has
they
to win
thought
duels,
about it.
that's
Looks like
it.
an interruption there as Tears has to
Wow.
try again.
Digizine going on a
11-11,
walk
but
into
2G have
waterfall,
so much
catching the
money, so it's
teleport back.
okay.
This post-plant position
Let's look at the
with
ult. Should they be
power outside
hunting
A space
Pancada,
too.
Omen
I
ult?
don't
They
see a
would maybe
world
give
2G
them
get back in.
Gobera. It's okay.
And this
If
is a
I'm
half buy for Loud.
honestly
But
Gobera, I
throw
can
a
just go
gamble like
on
this in.
everyone else.
So crucial that it pays off for them. PXS going
I
to be
don't think
down.
he needs to
Silence
do
wants to
too
take the
much.
fight, but he sees Decade down. Still can find the headshot though.
A death here as well for Gobera. If he
Two
gets a
rifles
kill,
still
it's
being held
incredible.
on to.
Okay,
Digizine
dude, go
now
die.
upgrade
All
Gobera.
that.
Nice fight to take
Go win the
here.
round.
Surely has to start to think about it, but Silence being dealt with now. Gobera's going to commit
No,
this
don't put the ult.
Armageddon.
No,
Pancada
not the
misses
ult, my guy.
timing
That
and
was...
crossing. Tail
Oh.
ultimate committed there to no value. Loud on a half buy, able to triumph and take the rifles out.
Yeah, getting the opener there versus LZ, massive. The walk from Digizine 2, taking that timing. After Askia failed to get the kill in B main. That's really what I think made this round slip apart.
This is all after the damage is done, these moments.
Oh, and losing the ult there is so brutal. Like, Gobera finds a couple of kills. He feels like he can be the hero for the team, but now, whereas 2G, their ultimates were feeling really good cycling in towards the end.
No,
Don't have
dude.
that breach ult for Vinny to work with here
It's
to go
such
to
a
12.
good ult.
4-round win
As
streak
in like a big
snapped
ult.
by Loud.
Oh, no,
Again,
guys.
again, it's another massive
It
opener
was
from
yours.
Digizine.
Back to back, LZ falls.
And he avoids any reprisal as well. The fault line timing rather is just not there. Cybercage will help him get out scot-free.
Has to call from the grave. No smokes to help stall out the site hits too. So Loud have plenty of time to try and work the map here. And eventually gear up for a breach ult hit into a site.
Goes
Working-
LZ.
Yeah, working into C. They've got to drop down this the smoke on top site to make it easier to break the wall.
And this time, of course, that sheer wall is going to be there. Can step through it together, but that Vice util is highly relevant. There is some action, getting active.
Two
over
people
towards
are gonna
the
get
side
here
of
in
the
time.
map, but Pancada is poking around
Did they
there.
trigger the wall?
Yeah, it's a little fake C to B, looks like to me. Maybe even sending
I haven't
in
heard the
Digizine
wall
past
yet.
this wall while the rest of the team rotates B.
Rolling Thunder from the attack. Is they going to commit
Okay,
here?
good
DJZ
little
through the
fake,
laser
but
fire
they
caught by
completely
PXS.
cleared
There's
it.
the sheer
Oh, they
wall.
over-rotate
Tries
from
to
B,
follow up
though.
on that and now over towards B. Might not
But
have been a fake
that is an
stall.
absolute
Sure,
play.
now. And that's PXS finding a timing and opportunity there. Vinny caught out as Loud commit their last remaining resources to the B site. We've got the spike down.
Askia with this operator towards A. Needs someone to step into his crosshair. Here comes Tui's. The shoulder is seen, but Tui's wins the fight.
Such a seasoned veteran moment there from 2 years. Refuses to serve himself up on a platter. Holding the line though is Kawanzine, and now into 2. Gabera has to fight, and Loud still keep the possibility of a map take alive.
It's a shame, dudes. It's a shame.
Good hit called there from Loud.
Okay, one chance for Loud to end it.
That fake into C. No one home on the B side. Still,
I don't know, I can't believe they made
things
this.
a little bit close.
I had no hope for them coming into this.
This from 2 years, the shoulder pick is so astute.
That's gross.
Dude, it looked like a jump bug, to be honest.
Nicely done.
Scraping back
Like a
in
mouse bug.
air.
Important. 2G here, still in quite a position to buy in a dimensional drift here.
Oh, they got loads of money.
Really got to
They got
relieve
loads
the
of
pressure
money,
just
and they got the breach
information
all out of
starvation
them.
for the defenders.
Like, they
So
actually
can
have
make the
better
right call on
ults.
where to be. C start for the attackers.
Yeah, pretty quickly already seeing the Yoru path back into the C side. After LZ gets posted up on A. It's been a lot of this C open from Loud, pause, re-hit.
Yeah, it's a very
One more
nice.
time.
2 years set up to play off his own cam.
Very nice
here.
trigger of the
LZ
wall
not
early.
getting a lot of action, and that's a terrible
Oh.
start. That's 3
Wait.
consecutive rounds. DJZ's found a clean opener ender.
Dude,
Now they're going to hit this
DJZ
C
just
side.
didn't
I
want to
don't think
lose,
there's much that
really.
can be said about it. A key kill for PXS here. But now it is smoke towards.
Oh.
That's beautiful. Okay,
Wait, and that
before
would have been the
smoke room,
fatal.
Silence can get involved.
And PXS has Rolling Thunder now for the retake off of the kill. Loud are not committing
clear
into
of
the
this
site.
as well.
Instead, ditches in to play slow on this lurk. See if he can catch anyone while his teammates work back into A.
This is going to take a moment though, and already 2G are suspicious. PXS also ready for a potential push.
Still kind of hard for
That Hall's
2G. They just
direction.
got no info anywhere.
How can DJZ be relevant here? So far from that spike, so far from his teammates.
He's calling them back over
They're shooting
towards C.
bullets, and they're going to come back
30
into C because
seconds.
Digizin hasn't found anyone. He might have even heard a couple of footsteps rotating out of the site as well. Loud calling a masterclass round right here, completely snapping 2G's ankles.
On a map point of anything, and now DJZ gets tucked in such a dangerous location. 2G
He cleared
all over the rise
waterfall.
entirely. Not a
He
clue
can
as to
face
what's going
heaven.
on.
They don't go for the good plant.
Spectators in the round. Time for them to get
Ooh,
involved.
they got
They've got
breach
that
all
rolling
for
thunder
retake.
for the retake. You mentioned that earlier. But can they get close enough to use it? DJZ is getting ahead.
Force back with a good flash. Louder still fighting up on these angles. So active. Vinny inside of a smoke towards water. This 1v1 is massive. The shorty takes him down.
Vinny's out of the picture now. DJZ has to hold from the low ground. Sees the Vice push up, and Picardo's able to find one. Now, surely. Caution thrown to the wind. Has to push up into this now. LZ gives it a tap. Takes him down. It's a 1-for-1.
Damn,
DJZ
bro.
6 health.
Overtime?
Not enough. We're going to
They
overtime.
managed to get to overtime.
You're telling me
Nice.
Loud 2G is going OT
Very
in map
nice.
1? Are you kidding
Leaving.
me? 2G showing up big here. In a crazy round, Loud working them around the map. But after 23 rounds of 2G playing hyper-individualistic, the last round, when it's all in the wire, they group up Deathball and it works.
I mean, the macro is so intricate.
Why did they
over these
plant
last
safe?
couple
I
of
think
rounds.
they
And
thought
it
they
should be
might be
maybe more
close with like
straightforward
a.
for Loud
I think they thought they might be
DJZ 3 rounds
heaven
in a
with
row.
a
Perfect
breach or
first kills, like
to
no
get them off the
reprisal,
spike.
great opener.
I think he wanted to get into a
The issue of
position
getting
where
onto
they
the
were going to
seaside,
breach
securing
or,
it for Loud is taking
and
a heck
then
of a lot
he
more
could
effort because
just
that
tank the
Vice
breach
you
or and then go
threat,
for a
of
plant.
course, of a gate crashing
He's
door
here and
to
they breach
return
or he probably has to
reinforce.
But now we have
go
that side swap
round
coming
here and
back.
then plant
2G on
safe.
attack. They
And then
face
at that
this
point, there's not too
2-1-2
much
setup
time left.
virtually
So I think the pressure of the
every
breach
round
or made him
played,
go
except
for the
a
safe
couple of
plant.
C aggros
I'm pretty sure.
later in the
They cleared
half.
waterfall, and then they were
2G
going to go clear over towards
very
heaven, but
successful with mid-round fights,
if
punishing
the guy's here
especially
with a
smoke
breach
regression on
or
the C side.
like you kind of do have to just plant safe. There wasn't
Loud
much
here
time.
have that set up with the breach
2G now
inside
back
tree.
on attack,
Fault line deployed here is Vinny realizing that some of
but
that
they
scrutiny
still create pressure
headed
over
in his
towards A.
direction. 2G far from committed, hoping to tease something out of Loud, who, in fairness, were giving them a lot of early action on the defense side.
Yeah, Loud with a big shift onto the A side. They liked leaving Pancata over here alone with the Cypher Trip and Cannon.
Prowler
now
goes
to
in,
play
but
off
it
of,
doesn't clear
which makes
back a
their A
rubble.
side very strong.
They haven't really cleared
Loud
the
are trying to
question
re-clear
mark, so
rubble.
it's still 3
There's
passing
still a
over
good
towards
presence here
A.
from 2G, so that could be a little bit
In
volatile.
the meantime, LZ's managed to clear the
Good
camera
work
and the
from
trip
2G though.
close
All
here,
that
so
side
that
you
creates
told
pressure
Dawn
here as
in the
well.
first 40 seconds
And
of the
Loud
round
don't really
wasn't
have
too
much
bad.
info on anything.
Still unclear really what 2G's true intention is, but they've got Askia pretty far forward. Gate crash though is there, so it's not a commitment.
A fake into a C hit, looks like.
Yep. What can Askia do? How can he sell this flash?
Okay, you've done enough. You've done enough though. You've done enough. You've got the info that there's 3 people there. They get a free sight for what I say free sight. They get a sight for a death. That's a bold plan.
Here in the retake.
Damn, dude.
Some of these retakes on defense, a little bit awkward for Loud at
Good
times.
plan for Mounds.
3 front B from Loud, looking to open up this
B
door.
pass and going door.
He is the key player right now. He's going to hear, of course, this door open. LZ can also
Dude,
follow the
LZ
line
always
for him.
gets a kill from there,
1
no
for
matter
1
what.
to
Do they
Bear.
check
Still
this?
hidden, undetected.
Oh boy.
Vinny
Oh
knows
boy.
gonna be looking for a C's, comes in,
No
but where's
way
the
they
eyes?
tethered and then didn't look on the
Galaxy
floor
able
to
to
see if
find
there
the
was
ball
going to be a
now. Player
tether.
running for Loud to leverage
Okay, if it actually
sides.
attached or
And
not.
PXS here, sat on bend, trying to hold on, trying to huddle together. It's the newcomer PXS. In a 1 versus 1. Over the top goes 2G's, but he
Oh,
makes
2G's
too
messing
much
up the jump
sound.
there as well.
The new blood. Get 2G to back points.
The new guy's playing well though. He's having some impact.
PXS winning out down numbers in the post play.
Valin with the 2 months. Thank you, the prime.
Gobert getting the 1 there, even after the tether had grabbed
He's
him.
he's doing his role, man. He's doing his role. He's winning the big rounds.
The second. And then that trade from PXS into the quick reposition. Beautiful seeing the new guy work it out on the stage.
2G's just gives away the game. But that's such a huge moment. Weight off the shoulders for a debut. Giving 2G a real shot at this. Did you see they might
Oh
have
god,
something to
it's
say?
7-person duel here. Oh, they didn't really have the Yoru to go for it, so I feel like 2G just wasted a lot of util. It's a big win for Loud right now.
Scaling off this part of the map, that's the question.
They'll probably smoke this off and then fight.
Push-up.
Loud ran a lot of these A hits into pinching back into B in the mid rounds.
This is one way of doing it as well.
I think 2G are
It's the more traditional way of doing it. Everyone smokes this these days and fight like out here with util here.
Down the road. But it does leave their seaside very
Ryan 1321, thank you so much for the tier 1.
But he doesn't have the wall to play.
Thank you for saying that, Ryan. Thank you. I appreciate the 9 months.
Yeah. Rather than grouped up at C. So in theory, Loud do have a decent way in. 49 seconds left.
Brilliant.
There's another clean open.
Dude, this guy is lurking every round. They leave him inserted after the early aggro. He's been so effective finding these picks.
Not enough to sell it
Okay,
though,
the
really.
call
To
is
2G,
to go back over
Askia
towards
here at
A.
C.
2-person holds.
2 years also will remain.
And they have
There's
4.
not a lot of real estate
Oh, they go
taken
B?
by Loud despite
Okay,
that first
honestly,
pick
B's
still.
Not
B's
much
the
from
one.
2G either. They've got zero
B's the one, and they're gonna
anywhere
split
on
it.
the map. Look how passively they're playing. 2 players back towards their spawn outside B.
LZ
Ball into B,
maybe?
sheer wall will be activated. Oh,
Okay.
Vinny's on the outside looking in.
Problem is they...
No, there's a player in Baby Door. DG seems been able to get there. Through the smoke,
Why?
though, desperately silenced them, but a fire one of there goes DG. You're running out of time.
Yeah, the rest of your
Loud,
team's
don't have other
isolated. You
options.
push into a
With 3
smoke.
players left to stay in the map, they've got to go for the plant, but
Damn,
Vinny
no
will be
plan. They actually did it.
interrupted.
They
And
actually
that's all
did
she
it.
wrote, folks.
They
2G
actually won the map.
limping into the game.
Oh
Will
my
take
god,
it in
okay.
overtime.
Well, I wasn't expecting
What are we
that.
doing here?
You're telling me 2G are winning their first map in 2025 without their IGL, without their leader from the Ascension